Well, see, I like to be in control of a lot of things.
Is this right?
It is right. It is right. She likes to be in control, but she doesn't know what to do with that control. She has a hard time making a decision.
I know.
So.
I let myself down. I tried so very hard not to lose it. I came up with a million excuses. I thought of every possibility. And I know someday that it'll all turn out.
We were family friends, you know, like our families knew each other really well for a long time.
My sister actually invited me to a game night, and he had come home from college.
Yeah, I got back from college, and a couple months later, we were having lots of game nights at my house, and then...
Okay, so Ryan's here from college. She's way older than you, so don't even think about it.
She came over, and she kind of came over a little bit early. They were doing a study upstairs, and so she was just sitting downstairs waiting with me and a couple guys, and I was like, who's this beautiful redhead? And I actually remember the moment that I looked through the little peephole in the door, and I was like, because I kind of have a thing for redheads anyway, so I was like, who's this? And opened the door, saw her, and she was just absolutely beautiful. And then she went upstairs, came back down, and just sat there, and then I just started talking to her, asking her questions.
But when I met him, he was just so fun, and but I didn't even think about it because he was so old, and I was 17, and he was 23.
I had no idea that our families had known each other for years. I didn't even recognize her, didn't even think anything of it.
And my dad would have been like, no, which he was. He totally did not like it.
Met you yet? I might have to wait, I'll never give up. I guess it's half timing and the other half's luck.
We hung out, hit it off, it was great, and a week later she came back, and I didn't hesitate to ask for her number.
And we just started texting each other, and we knew that we couldn't really start anything really serious though, because of the age difference and everything. And
She's, I mean, just fun.
we didn't want to mess things up because our families had been like really close, you know.
I think she thinks I was trying to pick up on her a little bit more, but really I was just fascinated with her. I just wanted to find out who this beautiful woman is.
And then we just got together one day, and we went on a walk in the park, and then we went to Starbucks, and he just flat out told me, I like you, but you know, I don't know how this is gonna play out.
All's fair in love and war, but I won't need to fight it. We'll get it right, we'll be united.
Our first date was January 5th.
It was 2 days after she turned 18.
I was legal finally.
Well, I asked her, I was like, hey, so how's it feel being 18 now? And she was like, oh, I bet you're excited.
But it was a wonderful first date.
We went and did the glow-in-the-dark putt-putt golf.
He kept making them in, and I was awful at miniature golf. So he kept giving me kisses on the cheek to give me his, you know.
I took her to the river walk in the Woodlands, and we kind of danced over there because they had the lights going and the music and everything by the fountain. And then we went to Olive Garden, which is her favorite restaurant.
There, actually, he does something really cool. He gave, actually, my charm.
She had a charm bracelet with only one charm on it.
Let's see, the dancing charm.
I snuck off at dinner at some point and went up to the waiter and handed him a card, you know, and it had the charm inside it, and said, hey, at the end of the meal when you bring me the check, can you hand this to her and say, some gentleman asked me to give this to you?
I was like, what? And so I opened it up, and there was a little bag, and in the little bag was this little charm. And
that I ended up, when I proposed to her, sort of tied something back in with that, and so it was pretty cool.
I love hopeless romantic, and I love romantic movies, so it was awesome.
Oh, you know it'll all turn out, and you'll make me work so we can work to work it out. And I promise you can to give so much more than I get. Yeah, I just haven't met you yet.
I move a lot. Even the way that I'm standing.
Oh my goodness, I know.
The way that I'm standing right now would just bug her so much. And I do stuff like this all the time.
He's always doing something with his hands.
I'm constantly tapping and beatboxing and making random noises. And
He has little things, yeah.
you just stop moving.
It's ridiculous.
Like, you're embarrassing me.
Just stop.
I'm not always gonna know when it's a good embarrass, like, oh, my cute, funny fiance, husband, boyfriend.
With his mouth or with his...
This all the time.
It's crazy.
I'm a drummer, and so I'm constantly just like, oh, and shaking my leg. I'll be sitting down.
And I just hold his leg.
That always gets to her.
I have to stop him because he's talking while he's doing something, and I'm like, you're distracting, you know?
She's like, no, you really are embarrassing me. You need to stop.
But it's funny. We laugh about it. We have fun.
Now you can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye. Let him hold you tight. You can smile every smile.
I think a lot of people have told me that I maybe went over the top with it, but if there's one big romantic gesture I was ever going to do for her, it was going to be the proposal.
Incredible. The perfect day. I'll remember it forever.
I think what really made it perfect is that she had no idea.
I had already started planning the wedding because I knew it was next year and things were booking out, so.
And we knew that we were going to get married. We were just waiting for my finances and everything to kind of roll together to be able to propose to her. And as far as she was concerned, I was several more months behind.
But I knew that it wasn't that day because I it wasn't that day because my dad said, oh, well, he has to ask me first.
Her dad, everybody, there were, I actually had maybe at least 100 people aware of the proposal and stuff. And all of them were able to keep it quiet, so that was probably the most amazing thing about it.
We went horsebacking on Galveston Bay,
which is actually something that I had been telling her for a couple of years that I was going to take her to do.
It was only us and then the little tour guide, and she let us go sometimes and ride by ourselves.
This was all proposal day, and so my goal was to make it such an amazing day. To where the whole time she's just wishing, man, I hope this could be the day, but knowing in her head that it won't be, so that there's no pressure over it, so that we really do get to just relax and enjoy each other's company.
And then we went to Pleasure Pier.
And rode a bunch of rides and did all this stuff. We actually went up on the swings.
And then we took an antique photo.
It was set in like the 30s, and I was a gangster with a Tommy gun.
And then we had to stop at Starbucks to get changed because we were all sweaty and gross, and so we had to go into Starbucks. I put a dress on. I was straightening my hair and
We're headed to dinner, but we were about 45 minutes late.
And so he was like kind of speeding in, and I doesn't really speed that much. So
that's when I started getting nervous because I started stressing out, going, "Oh my gosh, how is this going to work out?" But at the same time, I was like, you know what, God's got it.
It was incredible. We had our own little booth, and our waiter was so sweet.
I kept thinking, I was just thinking, oh, she's going to figure this out. She's going to figure that out. Because what restaurant is going to hold your reservation for 45, 50 minutes, you know?
Why is he doing this all without proposing? Because I thought, this is the perfect day. I kept thinking this is perfect. Just.
As the meal's going, it was hysterical, and she thinks this is so funny because she didn't even notice, but I was scarfing down food because I'm like, we've got to hurry because I had plans even after this.
I felt he was nervous.
This is the most expensive rushed meal I've ever had.
I didn't notice he was kind of trying to hurry us.
And I was getting nervous because she kept looking at the basket that had the little hidden camera in it. And because I was thinking, oh, she can see it. She sees the camera. And she asked me because I was nervous, and she was like, are you feeling okay? And I said, my stomach's bothering me a little bit. I think I'm going to go to the restroom real quick. So I snuck off, and I found my friend Rakesh and TJ, and we went to the bathroom. He put a lapel mic on me so that we could get a good audio for it.
He left me at the dinner table for 10 minutes, and I was like, oh my goodness, he must be really hurting.
He ran out to the car and got that antique photo that we had just taken.
All of a sudden, this treasure box comes to our table.
And he says, are you Ryan Claxton? And I said, yes. And he was like, oh, okay, some woman asked me to give this to you. And so then he walks off, which, was essentially what I did to her when I gave her that charm on our first date. Except this time I switched it around, so he hands it to me. And so I look at this treasure chest and I look at her and I'm like, baby, you didn't have to get me anything. And so, which of course then she's going,
I didn't even know we were coming here, type deal.
I don't know what that is. Who did that? What is this?
It was so confusing. I didn't even know what to think.
And then finally I open it. And inside is my driver's license.
There was his driver's license, his new one, which there's a funny story about that because I told him I would never marry him without changing his driver's license because he has super long hair, and I do not like guys with long hair.
Was this.
It's awful. It's awful.
So I open it up and it's this nice one. And I was like, oh, this is great. That's so cool. And then she's even more confused because she's like,
I knew that he had to be there to get his license. So I was like, wait, how did that happen?
And who gave that to you? And didn't you have to be there when you...
I was so confused that I wasn't talking that much.
Trying to lead her into saying something like, oh, yeah, this is great, all you need now is a ring or something. But of course she just couldn't get past the confusion, so...
He's like, oh, now I can marry you. And at that thought, that moment, I was like, oh, great. This is like a promise to like, I'm gonna propose soon, but this is just to appease you, I guess, you know, till then.
So then I opened up the box, and I was like, so do you like this box? And she was like, yeah, it's nice. And I had put a false bottom in it that the license was sitting on. So then I pop out that bottom, and underneath it was the ring box.
And it was the Gordon's box, and he got out of the booth. That moment, tears just filled my eyes. I was shaking like crazy.
Signaled to my filmmaking friends. They both rushed over with 2 different cameras.
He's just saying this most romantic speech.
What I didn't think was that long of a speech, but apparently it was an epically long speech. And so, but there was a lot of things I wanted to say.
I can't wrap my head around what's going on.
How I feel about her and about our relationship and about what I think God's done putting us together is just a beautiful, amazing miracle.
It's me like shaking and like crying,
and then I'm getting choked up trying to hold us together. And finally, I proposed to her. I hadn't even officially showed her the ring yet, and I asked her the question. She says yes, runs out of the booth,
and grabbed him and kissed him. And
then I said, oh, and I also got you a ring. So I got back down on a knee, pulled it out, and it was the exact ring that she wanted, that she knew was way out of my price range, but that was also a God thing, just totally worked out.
And I just fell apart. This is actually the ring that I wanted for so long.
So that was just the proposal part. Then I said, well, I have another surprise for you. We get in the car, and I give her a box that was zebra, which is her favorite. And it had like a hot pink bow on it, which is also her favorite. She opens it, and there was
things from like the first time we went to Chick-fil-A, there was this balloon artist, and the balloon was in there, and all these memories that, you know, flight tickets and playbills. And
then I drive her up to my church. We get there's nobody there, and I was in such a rush. And I kept telling her the reason I was in a rush was because I wasn't sure what time the security guard was going to lock it, but really I was in a rush because
I really thought that he was just going to play me his song on the piano.
We walk in, go into the sanctuary, and there are rose petals covering the floor of the whole sanctuary.
Balloons were floating from the chairs, candles burning everywhere.
We walk up, and
photographers like taking pictures of us.
A recording starts playing over the sound system of me singing The Way You Look Tonight, which is actually a song that she had asked me to record.
And he took me on stage and we danced.
It was beautiful. So then...
Wait a minute, there's not more.
No, there is.
No, there's more. There's always more.
I told her, I was like, well, hey, I said, after the song was over, I was like, I actually wrote a song for you that I wanted to sing to you. There's a big baby grand piano there, it's beautiful. And I said, I wanted to play a song for you that I wrote for you, but there was supposed to be a stool here that you could sit on. I just got to go get it real quick. And so she's sitting there just trying to figure all this out, and I run over, and as I come back with the stool...
With him came like 40 people following him, like 40. And then I turned around.
And then other people start coming from the other side of the room, and then like, 80 to 100 people all come into the room of, people from out of state, old friends that she hadn't seen in forever, her best friend who lived out of state.
That came to celebrate our engagement. And my mom was there, and I like ran down and I just hugged her, and we were all like crying, there's just so many tears.
That's when she really lost it, just started bawling, and that's when I knew I really succeeded. And
it was the perfect ending. And then he sang his song, which was incredible. It was incredible. And then we had an engagement party, and it was so much fun. There was cakes and flowers and everything.
It was incredible, just seeing how much joy that meant to her, to be able to share that with everybody.
And there was actually napkins that my mom got, and they said, does this ring make me look engaged? So that was awesome.
I'll give more than I get,
She is the most beautiful woman in the world. She loves God with all of her heart, and she's my best friend.
When you're a little girl and you make those lists of what you want in a husband, he surpassed the entire list. First of all, like everything that I had, he was that and more. If
you look at all of these things that I do for her, it's because of how she inspires me. It's because of what she brings out in me. It's more than just feelings. You know, love isn't always how you feel. It's how you act. It's what you do. It's how you serve, how you treat somebody. You know, love is patient. Love is kind. And every one of them, I'm so happy to do. Because she pulls that out of me. She inspires me and causes me to love her in a way that I wouldn't be able to love.
And I've always wanted to marry my best friend, so it's perfect.
Haven't met you yet.
Who's the worst driver?
No way.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You know you are.
Hold on, I've never done this before, but how many tickets have you had? How many accidents have you been in?
I cannot believe you're doing this.
How many tickets have I had? Only
Okay.
one, and it was the stupidest one ever.
Okay.
Failure to dim headlights. That's not a real thing. I've never said it before.
I cannot believe you pulled that card.
I mean, what other card was there to pull?
He wore a kilt to the Renaissance.
I'm sorry. To the Renaissance Festival.
Okay, but with sneakers. With sneakers.
Yeah, they're saying that that the red hair gene is dying out. That it eventually will be
Dying.
gone.
All right.
Yeah,
It's awful.
it's unfortunate.
I have to keep it going.
Is it?